so far away. Let's see if that's enough. I guess I could bring it closer. I think that works. Hi everyone. It's me, Enigma, or Jessica, or whatever. Too many names. Today, I just kind of want to talk about a couple things. Partially, I want to talk about... Bear with me, I had kind of a rough night, so I'm kind of sleepy and working through emotions. Today, I just kind of want to talk about things related to Japan, but also very deeply personal, because as I've mentioned, and I usually mention, I have a disability, a physical disability, and I do struggle with like mental illness as well, and trauma and all that great stuff. But I kind of want to focus on like my disability today because I have some thoughts, worries, things like that when it comes to travel and depending on other people, and maybe, sharing this will A, help me just kind of process some of it, but B, will maybe connect me with people who have traveled and know a little bit more about how to do it. I traveled to Japan, I think I was 17, and that was when my disability was just becoming known, if that makes sense. My disease, basically we think it started when puberty hit. However, it was so gradual that we didn't know that I had it until I was about 16 or 17. I basically just got weaker and weaker until I had gone to a personal trainer, and I wasn't willing, I think, to step up on a treadmill because that was hard for me. And the personal trainer was like, okay, if you're having that much trouble, you should probably go see a doctor. And they were right. I needed to go see a doctor. And it took about a year, I think, a year and some change, maybe, to kind of find out what my disease was, because it's so rare. And I say that interestingly because there's just so many people out there nowadays that have rare diseases. I just think that, diseases hit people differently. And we are all super unique, and we're, especially in our generation, I've noticed so many people have some sort of chronic illness or disability, and I didn't really feel that at the time, but I've been really realizing it more these days. But anyway, I got diagnosed and started treatment about a year and change later. And I had gotten my first infusions. I want to say I had only gotten one round of infusions before going to Japan. And that was quite the challenge. I don't remember if I brought a cane, but we did have a transport chair. I probably had a cane, but we had a transport chair for Japan, which had so many challenges and so many frustrations because I'm not, what's the word? I don't use wheelchairs very often, and I especially then, was very resistant to it, because I felt like it would be a loss of freedom and just a change that I wasn't ready for. And I will say, I think that, they recommend a transport chair, or at least like when you Google it, they recommend like a transport chair or a foldable wheelchair, something that can, be compact. However, I really struggled with the transport chair, especially in places in Japan that were less accessible. They had, more rocky roads, not rocky roads, but just uneven ground, and things like that. I struggled. And it made the experience really hard. To be fair, it also made things easier because I wasn't losing as much physical energy. But emotional energy was kind of hard to come by in a lot of it. I got exhausted emotionally very quickly. Recently, I have been thinking about the upcoming trip to Japan, and I have some goals before Japan comes for me. So I want to lose a little bit of weight so that it's easier for me to get up in some situations, me to move around, and also for other people to help me. I want to make it easier on others as well, to just help me get up out of chairs. My brother is really strong, so he's able to pick me up. I do think that my muscles are at a point where they just don't build, they don't function. I was talking to my partner about it a couple days ago, and we were talking about I was trying to explain kind of how my disability works. And part of it is that when I try to engage the specific muscles in my body that are attacked by my immune system, basically, it's as if they weren't there. Or it's as if the muscles were a machine that needed batteries, but they didn't have the batteries and also didn't have the slot for the batteries. So they just don't work. They don't engage when I tell them to, and I cannot use them. I think it's hard for people around me to understand that because I'm able to walk and I'm able to pick some things up. I'm able to get out of some chairs. I'm able to do a lot of things. I think a lot of people don't see what I'm not able to do, or they don't realize it, because I don't put myself in those situations where I would have to rely on others to help me get up or move. My partner sometimes helps me, actually not even sometimes, a lot of the time helps me sit up in the morning. Sometimes I'm able to do it on my own, but a lot of times I just don't have the energy when I'm waking up to kind of maneuver myself up. I have workarounds for a lot of things, but I also I'm just at a place where I'm accepting that there are some things that are probably not changeable in my ability level, and I think that's hard it's been hard for me to accept that. And I also think it's hard for people around me to accept that. I don't want to say specifically who, because they mean well, and I love them, and they love me. But there is some, I would say, pressure to try and become physically able. And I just don't think my body is able to. I think I can lose weight, maybe, to make it easier on myself and the people around me. I don't think I can build muscle in those places that have that issue. What all of this comes down to when it comes to Japan is mobility. There are a lot of things that I want to do in Japan. A lot of places I want to go and things I want to do. I, for instance, want to go to an onsen or a hot bath. But I have two things that are going to make it hard. One is that I have tattoos, so I have to find one that has a tattoo-friendly thing, or I can get something to cover them up as well. And then the harder thing is an accessible one. Because a lot of things in Japan, in my experience, have been low to the ground. And either, low to the ground, sitting on the ground. The hot baths are also, you step down into them, and then you have to step up out of them, which is the part that I don't think I could do. Buses could be hard for me. Just steps in general. Stairs are really hard for me. There's just a lot that's hard for me that is really ingrained in Japan that I really wish I could do. I wish I could sit on the ground and get up from the ground without difficulty. In fact, it's near impossible to get me off the ground. Flat ground, not happening. If there's a set of stairs nearby, I can maneuver myself up very difficultly. I can do normal size stairs or smaller stairs, but I won't be able to do things like Himeji Castle because they have huge stairs, huge steps. Last time that we went, I waited at the exit of Himeji Castle, so I only got to see the outside. It was nice. It was a really nice day, but it's hard not to feel loss when it comes to these things. But I don't want to be too sad because I'm going to Japan and it's going to be amazing. No matter what, I'm going to figure it out and it's going to be okay. I think I'm trying to decide if I should get a wheelchair again. Probably one that's better for maneuvering uneven grounds. So if you know any wheelchairs that are good for things like that, or if you've been to Japan or you live in Japan and have a wheelchair, and you have ideas that would be really helpful. Otherwise, I might just leave it at that today. It's just kind of an honest talk about my goals and wants for Japan, and yeah, I don't know what else to say, but I hope you have a good morning, afternoon, night, day, and goodbye. Oh, and if you are interested in seeing my journey to Japan or any other content that I make, feel free to subscribe. It's free. I am actually making a video soon. I tried making it and I'm gonna remake it on some fun products that I bought that I'm testing out. So if you want to see that, stick around. That should be out soon. But yeah, thank you for watching, and yes. Okay, now bye.